you want to know why Filipino talents excel globally? Tune in and listen to the stories of Filipino talents on how they achieved success in a global workspace as they have a deep one-on-one conversation with the CEO of Gabtech Global, Chris Yap.
Welcome to our show, Filipino Ignite, Filipino Unite. This is a show where we feature, Filipino talents. And today we're going to talk about, you know, Girlie's journey in the world of outsourcing BPO. Girlie's been with us for what, 3, 4 years now. And I'm really excited to have you here. So, Gertie, if you don't mind, give us a little background about yourself, personal background, professional background.
So personal background, I'm a native of Baguio City. Married, but now single mom of four. I've been a housewife for a long time. So when I first had my first child, I was the one who's taking care of him until my fourth one. So when my mom decided to go back here in the Philippines, she is an OFW. She's a single mom too, so she's the only one who supported us all the way. So she decided to go back here in the Philippines for good. So that's the time I decided to work. So I took the chance. I tried applying to companies but failed to be hired for any of those companies. So I think I have to do something to be eligible for those jobs. So I trained as a customer service representative with a private training center. So that is where they what do you call this, referred us to Cytel. So Cytel is hiring like people, new call center agents. So but it's in Manila. So it's my first job, but then I have to go to Manila. So I was relocated to Manila. So I've been with Cytel for just a few months. And then I didn't last that long. I cannot stand staying away from my family, especially my kids, that long.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I went back to Baguio City, and then I tried submitting my application to one of the biggest BPO here, Convergys that time, but now it's Concentrics. So I just went there. It's a walk-in application. I'm holding my resume, and I was just praying. And the same day, it's a whole day. Like I was there the morning, and then I went home like morning, 10 a.m. in the morning. I went home like 4 a.m. in the morning the next day,
Wow. Wow.
holding my contract, holding my
Wow.
contract, saying I was hired. So, so that's the first time I was in this industry, like for a long time. I've stayed with Concentrics for almost 4 years until 2019. So during my stay with Convergys, I met a lot of friends. So like really good friends. All of them like switched to a work from home setup that time. I was the only one loyal to the company. I tend to be loyal to the company that I work for, like stayed with them for a long time. So they kept on like encouraging me to, hey girly, why not live there? The money here is really like really good salary. But I was not convinced that time. I'm I'm a person who really is what you call the term sigurista in
Hmm.
Filipino.
Sure.
So I wanted to make sure if I decide on something, um, it needs to be sure. I need to be sure of that. So it took me months or even a year. A really good friend of mine kept on like encouraging me, why go there? So every team building with my friends, they are relying on my schedule
Hmm.
because I'm the only one working on the BPO, the office setup. They can work anywhere, everywhere. But then I decided, okay, it's time. So I rendered an immediate resignation after staying with them for 4 years. I rendered an immediate resignation. That was Friday. Monday, I was hired by um, a lead generation company, something
Hmm.
who is working on LinkedIn
Hmm.
generation.
Hmm.
So that is where Um, my colleague there was Julina that time, our general manager right now. So she's the one who's kept on like encouraging me, hey, come, I need the people here. So I worked with her. I met a lot of people. So that was my first ever work from home setup job. So it lasted for a month until pandemic came.
Yes.
That company need to lay down a lot of people. I'm one of those people, so I decided to take a rest. I think I've been working for like for 5 years, so I decided to take a rest. And then Dorina again kept on asking me like, "Hey, I saw this like an application. Let's apply. I wanted to. We want us to. I want us to work again, like a workmate, like and then friends, and we go out the same schedule or something like that." So the rest that I'm planning, it didn't
Didn't
happen.
happen.
Again, it didn't happen. So I submitted an application because I kept on like I think it's not yet time. I wanted to rest, but she kept on bugging me. I'm already done with the initial interview. It's easy, something like that. So when I have submitted my application there, I was hired, but she was not.
Mm. Oh, okay.
So I was with that company and I stayed with them for 4 years again. So I just resigned with that company just recently, this April. So I started as a chat support there, and then after 6 months, I was promoted to a QA. So yeah, so the job there is a little bit chill. So that is why when Jurina, my friend again and our general right now, offered me a role like, hey, we have an opening here in the recruitment. I need someone who can, help us with the recruitment. I have experience with recruitment, by the way, on the first company that I've been with. I trained as a recruitment assistant. So I just pre-screen candidates, initial interview. So that's where my experience in recruitment came from. So when Jarina offered me the role, I think I didn't like accept it right away because I have like a full-time job, and I only decided to accept it when I was promoted because I have a lot of time.
Mhm.
That job is what do you call this? An output based job. So I can have a lot of time, even if it's a full time. I can just review all the quota that I have for the day, and then I can work other work. So that is where my journey in Gabtech began. I started as a part timer recruiter. I've been through four managers, recruitment managers here in Gabtech, until they offered me, like you offered me the role, and I declined twice. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yes, I do remember.
I kept on declining these opportunities. So there's a lot of opportunities coming my way, and I keep on declining sometimes. But as I mentioned, it's in my personality to be sure of the decision that I make. So, but eventually, I decided to take on the role as a recruitment manager, and I've been the recruitment manager until I think April or no, early or this year. And so that is where I started my journey here in Gaptech Global. I started as a recruitment manager, and it's been like almost 3 years here in the company. And I've been a recruitment manager for 2 years.
Mhm. That's amazing. See, so this is why I really wanted to feature you in this show. Um, Really, if you look at your challenges were, you know, you got married, you were a single mom, and then you didn't have a background in the BPO. You got the break with Saitel, went to Manila, didn't last long because you couldn't be away from your family, right, for a long time. And then you worked for Convergys, worked for another company, and then you started with us as a part-time recruiter. Now, after 3 years or so, not only were you the recruitment manager, now you're actually, for everyone's, knowledge, you are now also the head of sales and
Yeah.
recruitment. So if you look at the timeline, that was really a really quick um, progress from how you started
Yes.
as a part-time recruiter to being the head of recruitment and now head of both sales and recruitment. I always believe, Girlie, that there are only three key ingredients to be successful, and that's really with your skills, knowledge, and most importantly, attitude. Because I say most importantly because skills, knowledge, you acquire it, you can learn that. But attitude, I always believe that it's either you have it or you don't. And from the first time I met you, I knew that you have the right attitude. And I knew it was only a matter of time before you take on like leadership roles, right? Now, what are the skill set or knowledge that you've acquired over time that kinda help you be successful in your role, let's say particularly with Gaptech Global, right? Because your promotion there was so fast. What were some of the skills and knowledge that really helped you achieve the level of success that you have today?
First is dealing with people. Like, I don't have any experience managing a team.
Mhm,
Never had.
mhm,
So it's my first time. That's one of the fear that I had before. The reason why I kept on declining.
mhm,
But I need to face that fear. I think I can do it. I challenged myself,
mhm,
and then I did.
mhm,
So when at first I doubted myself, but when I work with the people, that's the time I realized I love working with people.
mhm,
So I
mhm,
love team.
mhm,
The teamwork is really good.
mhm.
Um, I really love working with people, talking with people. That's one of the things as well that I realized when I was interviewing. Um, when you are interested working from home, like from a BPO, everyone, I'm not sure if I'm not generalizing, but majority of the people are looking for a non-voice
Yeah.
job.
Mhm,
It's a non-voice.
mhm,
So that's the reason why they're trying to switch to a work from home, non-voice, chill
mhm,
job.
mhm,
But that was I too in the past.
mhm,
But when I started like interviewing people, the feeling that you're helping provide job
mhm,
to co-Filipinos, that's a great feeling.
mhm,
That's a fulfillment that I felt when
mhm.
I managed the recruitment team. You are helping people here in the Philippines to have a nice job like you do. So you're like sharing the blessing.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think that that kind of brings up my next point of like attitude, right? I think what makes you particularly excel in what you do, Girly, is I really think that you have that giver's mindset. Like, we always talk about, here at Gaptech, our mantra is success follows significance, right? And you really live up to that standard. Like, you're very giving with your time. Like, now that you're managing people, you really spend time coaching them, just knowing them better. And I can tell that your team, they really love you to death. Not because you have like pizzas here and there, but I think it's like you're just very generous with your time, with your attention. So when it comes to attitude, Girly, what would you say is the right attitude to succeed in this work from home lifestyle, in really promoting Filipinos globally? What is the right attitude that brought your success today? I mean, to where you are today.
First that I think I can think of right now is to be you have to adapt,
Mhm.
right? So
Okay.
that's the first thing. Adapt not just with the work that you are doing, but the culture of the company. You have to be a part of that. Not just like entering I mean, logging in and log out just for the sake of payroll.
Hmm. Yeah. Sure. No, that's important.
Very important. You have to adapt to the culture. you have to, um, there's a lot, attitude, adaptability, and you have to be fast, like absorb everything that you can as fast as you can, because as uh, based on my experience in the recruitment, it's a fast-paced environment, so you cannot last if you cannot get like do that. um, so you have to be adaptive. What else? The attitude. Think of it like the job is not just for payroll. I think that's one of the important things. Those people that tends to stay longer
Yeah,
if
sure.
you think that way.
Hmm.
If that's your mindset.
Yeah.
So if you started something, be responsible, commit,
Hmm.
and then do your best always.
Yeah, and I think if I can add, because and I'm just gonna add because you say this a lot, um, not just you say it, but you actually you act on it.
Mm-mm.
I think you're genuinely caring as a human being too. Like if you remember Girlie, of course you remember just few weeks ago, I it wasn't I didn't have the best moments of my time. I was stressed. I was on
Yeah.
medication, and you actually reached out, and I really, really appreciated that. In fact, I told Isa, my wife, that look, Girlie actually reached out. I mean, Jarina reached out too, but you reached out and just say that, hey, I think you've been on the edge a little bit. You may want to take a break. So I mean, I really, really appreciate that. And what that showed was you're just a genuinely caring person. So I'm very lucky to have you in the Gabtech family, right? And I'm sure your family is lucky to have you. Your people under recruitment and sales really lucky to have you. So I think it's not just the attitude, but just the character yourself. You're just genuinely caring. You're very giving, and that's why I think you know we've grown so much since you and Jarina joined. Um, how many people did we have, Berlie? Do you remember when you joined like 3 years ago? Do you remember how many?
Less 100.
Less than 100,
We're just
and
like
now we're
50 or
about 50.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about
Mm,
3 years ago. So that was
mm,
about 2020, 2021, right?
2020. Yes.
And then now we're about 300 more or less. So going back to what you said earlier on having the ability to share the blessings, not just on the financial side, but the lifestyle, right? When I say lifestyle, look, you're working from home and at Gabtech, where we don't have a toxic environment here. We don't tolerate that kind of environment. I wouldn't say it's easy because nothing's easy, but I would. I personally, obviously, I'm not just saying this because I'm the CEO of Gaptech, but we genuinely enjoy working with you, with Jarina, with all of our team, right? And you've mentioned that before too, and it speaks about our culture, and I think it comes from the top. And not to toot on my own horn, but when I say top, the management team, because we that has a ripple effect to everyone. We don't tolerate toxic environment. We don't tolerate toxic people. If you're toxic, you're most likely
You're out.
you've been terminated already. And that's just the culture. And again, you really take your job seriously because you take our mission seriously, which is to provide higher paying jobs for Filipinos while really helping our clients globally grow their businesses as well. Um, so, before I let you go, what advice do you have, Gertie, for our consultants, our people who are interested in joining Gabtech? What are your maybe just few advice? What can you say to them to make sure that they can actually succeed in our culture, and not just with our with Gaptech. There's a lot of great companies out there providing work from home opportunities outside Gaptech. But what advice do you have for these people who want to join the virtual workforce and providing great service to clients worldwide?
Right. So, what I can advise to those who are interested to be part of Gaptech Global, do not be content on what you have. Try to challenge yourself because that's what I am before. Keep on pushing. I can never imagine I can do something until I really did it. So just keep on pushing. Believe in yourself, but of course you have to do things like upskill yourself. Gabtech Global is very very generous on those trainings and etc. So that's one of the perks that I really love with Gabtech. Um, Giving chances. You're working while you're improving yourself. You cannot just use that here with Gabtech because maybe one day you decided to work with another company. That's a skill, a forever skill that you will have. So challenge yourself. Don't limit yourself. I think that's it. Because if you're really wanted something and you're interested, you wanted it, you wholeheartedly, it will follow. Like I don't like sales. I never liked sales.
Yeah, I know it took me a while to convince you, but yes.
Yeah. But when I started like doing it, I just keep on like learning things step by step. But then I learned to um, love what I'm doing, even if I don't even know if it's working or not. So, but it's a work in progress. But if you do something, you're serious about it, you will learn to love it eventually, even if you don't like it.
Yeah, awesome. Those are really great advice. Well, Girlie, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your story. I think your story is, a lot of people can relate to it because we all have had difficulties in our lives. We have our own challenges. Yours is, I'd say, in the top level of challenges because, you have to do it on your own. Being a single mom is never easy, and then you went through that, and now not only are you surviving, you're thriving and you're excelling in, for yourself, for your family, financially, and with the position you are where you're helping, you're creating jobs and you're providing jobs because you have an amazing role because you're the head of sales and head of recruitment. So you're
It's insane.
creating jobs and providing jobs, which is, I mean, I feel like it couldn't get any better than that, right? And then um, we have a lot of opportunities to grow, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, no, Girlie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your
Right.
story, inspiring our fellow Filipinos. So keep doing what you're doing, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thanks, Gertie.